Hi everyone, welcome to Luxury Solo Explorer. Those who are watching us on my other channels, which is Fly with Passport and or Luxury Junket, thanks a lot for joining us. By the way, my name is Valentino. Today is actually the second episode of my travel course series. So some of you would remember last week I had started a series on solo travel, and the first country in that we have covered is Philippines. So today is the second episode of the travel course series. It is a complete course. The link to the course is actually going to be put in the description along with the recording of this particular course. So today we are going to cover the beautiful country of Vietnam. So I'm really excited to talk about it. It's a really pretty country, really nice people. So let's get straight into it. But just before you start, just let me know where you are joining me from. And if you have any questions, then just feel free to drop them in the chat and I will answer them as soon as possible. Now, in terms of the problem, let's talk about that first. What is the problem here? So, planning for Vietnam actually it can be it can be confusing. First of all, it's not clear how to get the visa because it doesn't give visa free entry to a lot of countries. So that's the first thing. The second is there are not many direct flights from a lot of countries. So how do you actually reach over there? Then there are language barriers. Then there are cultural barriers. Then it's a sort of a long, thin country, so from north to south. So where do you basically start? Like, what time should you go? When do you actually go there? How do you stay safe? All of these things, this creates a little bit of a confusion. So, well, don't worry about it because I'm there. I've traveled this country number of times. I've been to Vietnam a lot of times now. So, what I can offer you is basically the first-hand authentic advice. That would be my promise to you. That I won't give you anything which I have not personally experienced. I would give you no filter advice. So, what about the logistics? What about the safety? What about the destinations? I will talk about that. So this is going to be a live Q&A session as well. So if you have any questions, just as a reminder, please put them in the chat. The full recording, of course, will be saved right after, and it will be uploaded onto the channel. So now let's get into it. In terms of first of all, how do you actually get over there? So there are not many direct flights to Vietnam from most parts of the world. Vietnam has got two major airlines. Major meaning Vietnam Airlines is the main sort of national flagship carrier and our carrier, and there is another airline called Vietjet, which is like a low-cost airline. So these are the two airlines which are basically main airlines, I would say, which are directly supporting flights to Vietnam. Other than that, if you have to reach Vietnam, the best option is to actually reach via Singapore. Singapore has a number of direct flights to Vietnam, or Malaysia has number of, or like if you go to Kuala Lumpur, from there are a number of flights directly to Vietnam. So these are the two options in the region, or of course Bangkok is always open. So Bangkok would also be the third option. So these are three options which you can take in order to reach Vietnam. If you live in a country from where Vietjet or Vietnam Airlines does not fly, then these would be the these would be the options I would say. Now let's talk about like once you decide, okay, I'm flying on so and so date, then the next question would be, okay, how do you actually get the visa, because that's important. Now basically the thing around the visa is that there are, I think, about 13 countries which actually get visa on arrival. Unfortunately, US or Australia or Canada or India for that matter, these countries, they don't come in that particular list. So these 13 countries primarily consist of European countries. Even I think even Japan is included as part of that. And these are the only countries which actually get the no visa entry, which is for 45 days. But if you belong to most of the other countries, then you will need to actually apply for visa beforehand. It's very easy. You need to apply about 4 working days in advance. The fee is about 35 US dollars, if I'm not wrong. And once you apply for that, it just comes in like 3 or 4 working days. Everything is okay. You need to provide your passport details and everything. And then this basically saves you a lot of time once you come at the airport. Now, which actually brings me to the next point. So once you reach over there, especially if you're coming to Hanoi, Hanoi is the main gateway to Vietnam. Hanoi Airport is not it's not the best of the airports, to put it this way. So Hanoi Airport has got issues in terms of immigration. So sometimes it can have very long queues at immigration. So what I suggest, like in order to get rid of that, and in order to save time, sometimes it can actually take you like maybe 2 hours or maybe even more, depending on how busy the airport is, just to get out of immigration, and that can be very frustrating if you come out of a long flight. So what I suggest is there are a number of service providers available on Klook. You can check that. From Klook, they basically provide you like a VIP arrival service. So you can subscribe to that. It's not very expensive. What happens with that service is you just buy that service. I think you pay about 70, $80. And then what happens is once you come out of the airport, someone is actually waiting for you. At the Once you come out of the flight, someone is holding like a billboard for you, or a card for you, and then that person will actually take you through the fast lane. There is a fast lane, so you basically will go through that, and then you don't have to stand for such a long time in the queue, and then you go through immigration quickly, and then your luggage comes, and then off you go. And then at the same time, those are the very people, they can actually help you with the transportation as well. Which basically brings me to the next point, which is the airport transfer. So how do you do that? Now, depending on where you're staying, if you're staying in Hanoi, and if you're staying in some of like one of the bigger hotels, then you can request them and they can actually pick you up from the airport, which will be pretty easy and comfortable. Or if you don't want to do that, then the other option is you can use a Grab app. I would strongly recommend that don't take the taxis from the airport. They are known for overcharging, especially to the foreign tourists. So that would be my next point. Now, if you're traveling to some of the other destinations, you don't want to stay in Hanoi, for example, and I will come to the itinerary in a bit. But if you're not going to stay in Hanoi, and let's say you're going to Da Nang, or you're going to Ho Chi Minh, or if you're going to Phu Quoc, yeah, either of these places, um, so then the best option would be actually to take the domestic flight. Now, when I say the domestic flight, I'm referring to Vietnam Airlines, not referring to Vietjet. Vietjet is very cheap. Like it's costs really, like sometimes you can get a ticket for only like $20 or so. Sometimes depending on when you book it. Having said so, Vietjet is also known for a lot of issues in terms of when you check in, the long queues, and a lot of other issues can be there from a logistics angle. And when you're on a holiday, you don't want any of that. So you might as well, I advise that instead of going with Vietjet, which is a low cost airline, you actually go with Vietnam Airlines. It will probably save you a lot of time and hassle. There are other option is, if you don't want to take the flight, the other option is there are some express trains which run between different cities. You can take those also. They are very nice trains. They're luxurious actually. So if you don't want to take the flight, you want to have a different experience, you can do that as well. That's also possible. That's your second option. But if you're short on time, then I think the best option is to take Vietnam Airlines flight and just move on to the different. Now, let's come to the fun part now. Okay, so basically, when you reach Vietnam, fair enough, you're welcome, you've come to the hotel. Now, what are you going to do basically? Where are you going to stay? Or, what kind of things you're looking for, right? My sort of philosophy around traveling is, of course, because I prefer luxury travel. So it's more. I think it's more focused around avoiding the crowds, and at the same time having comfort. Right. Sometimes, of course, I do go in the crowds, but most of the times go to the more peaceful places, or maybe sometimes nightlife, which is obviously there are a lot of crowds over there in those cases. But in a normal scenario, in a daytime scenario, I would be going to little places wherein there's not many, like it's not too crowded, so you can actually enjoy the destination wherever you're going. So if we start with Hanoi, so Hanoi, the best area in Hanoi to basically stay is the Old Quarter area. That is basically where everything is nearby. In the Old Quarter area. Word of caution, of course, it is very congested, really, really congested. There are hotels which are basically hidden. Like you just go there and only then you find that there is a hotel there. Otherwise, you can't even find that there is a hotel. So hotels are sort of hidden over there. But yes, and also I'd say that it's very congested in the sense when you're walking on the road, the cars are going at in both directions, and the road is so small. So you are actually sort of you need to take care of yourself, just not to get hurt, or someone trying to take rob something away from you and run away. Those kind of instances are also there. So just need to keep that in mind. So leaving that aside, if you're going to stay in Hanoi, so Hanoi has got all the five-star hotels, right, from Sheraton to IHG to uh, Marriott to you name it. Like all the big chains are there. Novotel is there. Everything is there in Hanoi. So, but they are not in Old Quarter. So they are basically outside of Old Quarter. So if you really want to stay in Old Quarter, then there are other five-star hotels, but they are not the international five-star hotels. They are the local ones. So the local equivalents of that. Even four-star hotels are there, and a lot of backpackers hostels and so on is also available over there. Now, where would you go? So, if you want to like really again, really depends. Like basically what kind of things you really want to do, or what kind of things you really want to, basically what you want to see. Now, if you want to stay in Hanoi, then I think the best option, one of the best or the most recommended option, is that you go to Halong Bay. So Halong Bay has got number of cruises, both day cruises as well as night cruises. So they take you onto the Halong Bay. You stay on the cruise overnight. The food is good. There are some activities which happen, and they show you around. Having said so, it's pretty far from Hanoi, which means I think it's around 2.5 hours drive, depending on how you are going. If you're going by if they are picking you up in their own vehicle, it means that you will have a lot of hassle in terms of picking different people from different hotels. Only once the capacity is filled, then they will take you to the actual destination. What I did was when I went there was that I hired a taxi. I told them I don't want to be picked up. I just hired a car from the hotel. Those guys dropped me at the place where the destination was, and from there on, everything went fine. Uh, Other suggestion which comes to my mind at this point in time is that just download the Vietnamese language using Google Translate, because not many people over there speak English, so that would be a big issue. So if you don't know the Vietnamese language, which most of the tourists would not know, then I'd recommend that download the Vietnamese language in your Google Translate, and that will help you in translating and talking to the people. Otherwise, it's very difficult to communicate. Most of them don't speak even basic level of English, so that's one issue. Other than that, in Hanoi, the other things which you can do is that there is a Venice Grand Mall, which is very nice. It's got a specific name. I can't remember the name right now. So it's got a specific name, but I think it's called Venice Grand Canal Mall. That's really beautiful. It looks really nice. It's got that Western European feeling to it, right in the heart of Hanoi. So a lot of people go over there. It's very photogenic. A lot of photos, and you will see Instagram is coming around. You can go over there. That would be the other option for you if you're looking for that. The third thing is there is something called an incense village, which is near Hanoi. That's not very far. I think it's only about like 45 minutes out of Old Quarter, or maybe maximum 1 hour out of Old Quarter. It is very photogenic, but then you might have an Instagram, expectation versus reality moment, because it is not very big. Even though they say it is incense village, but there is no such village over there. There are few shops, and there is like a community which is basically they're making the incense sticks, and they show you how they are making it. Their machines and how they do it. They even sell that to you. But in reality, it's not like a full village, like a fishing village, for example. You'll go and you'll find like hundreds of boats there and so many things, people walking around and catching fish and all of that. That's not the kind of feel, like it's not, it's just got some photogenic opportunities, and you can go and have a look at, how they're making it. Basically, that's long and short what is there. Then the next city, which if you fly from Hanoi, you can go to Da Nang. Now, Da Nang is known to be the cleanest city in Vietnam. It's super clean, like really clean as compared to other cities like Hanoi. Or Hanoi is pretty dirty, but like you need to be careful in Hanoi. Most of the people are actually wearing the mask in Hanoi. But once you come to Da Nang, the air is much cleaner, and the city as such, feels really clean. It's got that vibe, positive vibe to it. There are two main places, wherein you can go in terms of, if you want to see the sightseeing. The first is, of course, a place called Hoi An, which is famous for its nighttime lanterns. So it's got colorful lanterns. So you can go on a little boat. They take you in the middle of the river, and then basically you put the lantern in the river, and you ask for a wish, and then it's very colorful. All different kinds of lights are there. There are a lot of bars, people sitting on the bars taking views, and so on and so forth. Only thing is that if you go a little bit early, then you can actually find a place to sit. Like if you want to sit and watch, then you can go to one of the clubs and take one of the window seats and then sit from there and you can watch. Or if you just want to go there and just want to be over there and don't want to get too tired, then the second option is go a little bit late towards the dusk, so that you can actually enjoy once the light comes up. You can enjoy that. In addition to going over there, you can also, before you go over there, you can also enjoy the banana boat. There are a lot of places where on the way wherein you can enjoy the banana boat. So if you tell your taxi driver, most probably they will take you as well. So that's the second sort of option. In terms of the other area where you would want to go, is a place called Bana Hills, which is outside of Da Nang. It's pretty far. And then once you reach Bana Hills, you actually have to take, it's like a gondola which you need to take. And it keeps taking you high and high and high and high. So it takes about 30 minutes. So even like, I think it's the longest gondola I have experienced personally. So it's very long. It's all in the hills. So it keeps taking you on a high hill. And then finally, when you reach over there, it's got a number of things over there like entertainment for family. Basically, that's what it is. So it's got a number of things over there. There are hotels also over there. You can stay in Bana Hills as well. And the famous iconic, the hand statue which is there on the bridge, it's called the Golden Bridge. That Golden Bridge is actually in Bana Hills. So in order to reach there, and it takes one full day. So once you reach over there, you really won't be wanting to come back before the evening, and you'll be super tired. So my recommendation is, if you want to take pictures, it's completely crowded. Don't go on Saturday or a Sunday, and also go early in the morning. So as early, I think it opens at about 8 o'clock in the morning. When I went there, just it just opened and I was right over there. Like that's how I went there. When I went there, there were not many crowds. 1 hour after, the whole bridge was completely crowded. There was not even one. You can't even like just can't stand over there. It was so crowded. So that would be my second recommendation. In terms of the hotels or where you can stay in Da Nang, Da Nang has got a number of hotels. A lot of expats live in Da Nang. So Da Nang is it's like an expat city, so to say, and it's got nice beaches, very colorful beaches, very nice places. I think there is Sheraton is over there. There is a hotel called Four Points by Sheraton, which is right on the beach. You can actually consider that. Or if you're looking for nightlife, then what you can do is you can stay in Novotel. Novotel is right next to the. It's not in front of the sea, but it's actually in front of the river, and it's got the biggest nightclub of Da Nang. I think it's called Club 360, if I'm not wrong, and that's basically over there. The number of other beaches over there as well, which you can enjoy. So these are some of the things which you can do as far as Da Nang is concerned. Now moving on to Ho Chi Minh. So Ho Chi Minh is, again, you can take a flight from Da Nang to Ho Chi Minh. Ho Chi Minh is a major city, so it's actually, I think it's a bigger city than Hanoi. Pretty big city. It's got, Hanoi is basically famous for, it's got number of churches. It's got number of, I think it's got some French opportunities as well, and then it's got the nightlife. Hi, Ria Rans. Thank you for joining us. You're welcome. Glad you like them. Now, coming back. So, sorry, I got distracted. I was just replying to the comments. Coming back, in Ho Chi Minh is basically for nightlife. So it's the young city. So it's got a lot of people working in the tech sector and a lot of other sectors. So it's basically known to be like a young city. So it's for party goers or for those people who really want to enjoy, like, it's a happening city. So there's clubs, there's nightlife, number of events happening there. A lot of things are there in Ho Chi Minh. Again, Ho Chi Minh has got all options in terms of all kinds of hotels. It's got luxury hotels, five-star hotels. My personal favorite is Sheraton. It's right next to District One. District One is where all the nightlife and all the even the business action is. So that's, if you really want to, like, don't want, you're going for the first time. Basically, I would suggest that District One would be your best option. It's a little bit far from the airport. It's not, so it's in the city. So the airport is actually far from the city. But once you're there, you're there. You don't need to basically you don't need to go anywhere. Sheraton is right in front of the entrance of the nightlife district one. I think it's called the Bue Wen Street, if I'm not wrong, and it's also known as the Walking Street. So it's around all of that. So those are some of the things which you can consider. Now, coming to the next point. So, in terms of which is, I would say, the most important point, which is around the safety, right? Now, the safety is paramount. Everyone wants to be safe. You can't enjoy anything if you don't feel safe. So, what are the things, like we need to take care of so that, we are not like, we don't want to be stressful, right? We want to be like, we want to enjoy. We don't want to be scared. We want to be cautious, but at the same time, make sure we have fun. We ultimately spend so much of money going so far and so much effort, and then what is the point if you don't really enjoy? So, what are the things which you can keep an eye on? So, one thing which is common is, of course, the taxi, and this taxi issue is common in many Southeast Asian countries, not just in Vietnam. I'm not singling out Vietnam. It's common in most parts of Southeast Asia. If they see the tourists, they actually overcharge you. That's pretty common. So that's the first thing. Second thing is that in terms of your things, whenever you're walking on the street, two things. One is just keep an eye on people coming from the opposite direction, right? Or basically people coming from behind. Sorry, not from opposite direction. People coming from behind. So what you normally do is, in order to safeguard yourself, is that you walk in the opposite direction of the traffic, which means the traffic is actually coming towards you, so you can see if there's something wrong or someone is going to do something. Because this snatching of mobiles is very common. Sometimes they even cut the luggage straps, and they try to take away your bag. So secure your bags around your body before and normally don't try to take a taxi right on the street in Vietnam, again, because of number of issues. People overcharging you, and also it may not be safe because you don't know where you're going and they don't speak English, at least. Or maybe they pretend that they don't speak English, but normally what I experienced was that they actually don't speak English, and therefore it becomes very difficult to communicate as well. So that's the other thing. So I'll take a little pause here, and what I'm going to do is that I'm going to look at the questions. So we've got a question here. We've got a comment here from Regine Minando. Hi, Regine. Thank you for joining us. Oh, you're planning to fly to Vietnam soon. That's amazing. Where are you going to in Vietnam? Which city are you planning to go? Okay. So now let's move forward. So move to the next area, or to the next point. So this was basically around the scam side of things. Now let's look at it from a monetary perspective. Look, Vietnam is considered to be a very cheap country if you compare it with US dollars or Australian dollars for that matter. It's considered to be a cheap country. When I say cheap country, what I mean is it's very cheap to buy things over there. You can actually, on the street, you can actually buy food even for like less than $1. Like, it's really cheap. Sometimes even 50 cents. It's so cheap, right? Their currency is completely devalued, so don't get shocked if they say, "Okay, we're looking, give me 150,000 dong." Suddenly, you will say, "Oh, what? 150,000 dong?" But then, when you convert, you will realize, "Oh, it's only like $1 or $2 or like that." So this was the first shock when I got when I went to Vietnam for the first time, right? Uh, most of the places, especially if you're on the streets, they will only accept cash. That's another challenge. So keep cash with you. Good thing is they actually accept US dollars also. US dollars are accepted as a major currency within Vietnam, not officially, but most of the people actually accept US dollars as well. If you have dollars, you can easily pay them. So that's another thing which you can take care of. In terms of changing the currency, I'd say that don't change the currency at the airport. It's costly over there. Second, it's going to waste your time over there standing in the queue, right? The easier option is you get your travel card, the number of travel cards, like if you've got a Revolut card or a Wise card, for example, if you're from Australia and you've got it, Wise is available everywhere. Just go there, just go to an ATM in a mall and take out the money from there. It's the easiest thing to do, like really easy, and cheap also. And most importantly, it is safe. because there have been instances of people basically following you when you're going to the ATM. You take out the money and they try to rob you, and it's very difficult to stop them at that point in time. Especially don't go at at night places or places which are like not really very well lit. So those kind of places, I would say, don't do those kind of things. If you really want to take out cash, you really want it, then my suggestion is go to a bank, or you can actually go to some of the malls and they have money changes within the mall. You might get a much better rate. Of course, you'll get a much better rate, and at the same time, it's going to be much safer. So those are some of the things which you need to take care of. Oh, thanks, Ria. Thank you for joining. Yeah, it is. I agree. Ho Chi Minh is a very nice place. Really, really nice place. Ho Chi Minh is very close to the Phu Quoc Island as well. So I'm going to talk about that. If we have time, I will talk about Phu Quoc as well in a moment. Now, what are the things, so what are the things which you should not do? So, one wise man once said that, I make mistakes, but then I learn from others' mistakes. I don't learn from my own mistakes. I learn from others' mistakes. So, what are the things, like people normally, as an average traveler, what kind of mistakes people do? Well, the first thing is that I would say in my opinion, the first one is definitely don't rely on the street taxi, because you'll be haggling for the price, and then it might they might actually take more money from you. They may not return. They will pretend they don't understand English. You don't want to get into a fight. You don't want to get in an argument. So I would suggest just to avoid all of that, and of course, you don't want to spoil your mood also. So all of these things put together, I would say that don't rely on the street taxi. So that would be the first thing, first which you should not do. The second thing is that when you're booking the cruises, just look for a reliable cruise provider. Don't go for any cruise just because it is cheaper. It doesn't mean it's going to be good enough. Some cruises, they're known to have security issues. When I say security, they don't have enough equipment. If something goes wrong on board, they don't have the proper equipment to actually safeguard you, like the life jackets, like the basic things as life jackets. They may not even have all of that. So you don't want to be stuck in such kind of a situation. The food is also an issue. Water is known to be an issue as well. So when you are over there, I'll recommend that buy enough bottled water. Don't use the local water in the tap. The tap water is definitely not potable. When I went to Vietnam for the second or the third time, I think I went on the cruise and I felt completely sick. Like I was so sick, I just had some little bit food on the cruise, and off you go. I went completely sick. So that would be the next thing, right? Let's move forward now. So far so good. Now let me think about what are the other things I plan to cover with you. I've already spoken about the exchange rate and the money. The other thing which comes to my mind immediately is actually about the private guide issue. So a lot of places, if you go there, people will come to you. They will say, "Okay, we are the private guides. We will take you around. We will show you about the place." The number of things which they can talk about. Yes, definitely. There are some places wherein you will definitely need guides. Undoubtedly, I won't deny that. Having said so, there are some people who will ask you to make payment to them upfront, 100% payment. So whatever payment they're asking for, they will say, okay, make the payment upfront. Please don't do that. That would be another thing, wherein you would end up losing money. If you can actually give them some deposit, like if they're asking for, I don't know, say the $30, $40, and you give them, let's say, $10, that's fine. But don't give them the entire money, because if they go away, then you're gone. Basically, you're left alone. So they have no incentive to stay with you if you've given them all the money. So that would be another thing which I would recommend to you. And last but not the least, and a very important aspect, and which I would recommend not just for Vietnam but for any country, whichever country you come from and whichever country you're going to, unless you're 100% sure that your country has a reciprocal health agreement with the country you're visiting, please make sure that you get your travel insurance before you travel. Travel insurance saves you like anything. I know a lot of my friends, in fact, some of my relatives also, they have made mistakes of not buying the travel insurance, trying to save a little bit of money. Okay, we want to save like $200-300, and then they went abroad and they fell sick over there, and then ultimately they had to pay a hell lot of money. What they, it just to save like $200-300. They ended up, because they fell sick, and then in the hospital they can't go to the normal public hospital. But anyway, public hospitals are not that great, so you want to go to a private hospitals, and those private hospitals are extremely expensive. So they actually ended up paying like saving $200. They ended up paying like 5,000, 7, $10,000 like that. Pretty expensive. The bill just racks up. So I recommend that definitely take the travel insurance. And the last thing I'd say is that always look at the travel advisory of your government, whichever country you live in. For example, I live in Australia, so from Australian government there is a travel advisory for every country. So look at that, make sure that you follow the advice, whatever has been provided to you, because if you go to a country against the travel advice or against the advice of your the parent country. For example, if I decide, if the Australian government says I can't go to X country, but I still want to go to that particular country, so if I go over there and something happens to me, my insurance is null and void. Even if I've got travel insurance, the travel insurance is not going to cover me. Why? Because I have gone against the travel advice of my particular hosting country. So the condition of the travel insurance is that you have to follow the travel advice provided by the government. That's the fundamental advice. So that would be some of the things which come to my mind. One thing which I missed talking about is the iconic train street, which is in Hanoi. So when you go to Hanoi, the train street is basically very close to the old quarter. So it's not walking distance, but you can. I mean, even if it was walking distance, I'd say don't don't walk, but definitely take your car, or as in take the driver from the hotel. They can drop you over there. Go there pretty early. There are specific times the train comes. There are, I think, 4 or 5 times when the train comes in the whole day. So it doesn't come. It's not that the trains are going there left, right, and center. They've got specific times when the trains are coming. 1.5 hours before the train arrival time, people come over there. They're taking pictures. They're on the track, and they occupy all the places from where you can take the nice pictures. So therefore, if you really want to take those nice pictures and nice videos, Instagram worthy videos, please go there pretty early. Take the seat. Keep enjoying the food at the same point in time, and stay safe. Don't go very close to the train. It appears that the train is not coming, but when it comes, it's really hard. I've seen the shacks on the just next to the track. They getting destroyed by the power of the train. It just smashes them. It's very common over there. So that sort of completes the session for today. I think I've covered all the essential points. I've spoken about the visa, I've spoken about the flights, I've spoken about what are places you can go, where you can enjoy the nightlife, where you have the nice places to go. What are those nice places? I have covered all of that. Um, Having said so, if there are any questions, any comments, like, I'm always open to questions, always open to comments. If you've watched this, and let me know, what did you like, what did you not like. If I missed anything, I can definitely change that in the next video. And I would also like to answer any questions, anything which comes to your mind. I would like to answer those questions. And also, don't forget to like and share and subscribe to the channel. Your support really means a lot. Next week, so because this is a weekly series, last week we have done Philippines. This week we've just finished off with Vietnam. Next week I will be covering one of my very favorite countries, and favorite of a lot of other people as well, Thailand. So I will be covering Thailand next week, and the week after, I plan to cover my parent country, which is the lovely New Zealand. So that's how it is. But thanks a lot for sharing, for being with me, and for spending the time. Hopefully, you got some value out of it, and I'll see you in the next video. Drop your questions, and I'd love to answer them all. So have a nice day, wherever you're watching from.